For the record, Mr. Holthafer will not be joining us this evening, and Mr. Brown will be late by approximately 10 minutes. Mr. Pepe? Okay. All right. Personal appeals, part one. Anyone with a personal appeal, please step forward, sign in, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Madam President.
Good evening, Dr.
Mr.
Waddell.
Mayor, Mr. Winkelhocker, Mr. Pepe, and Council. I feel like this should actually be under community minutes, so I apologize right up front for this. But it is an appeal, and a reminder that this Sunday, we will be doing the 9th Annual Veterans Bricks installation at the Remembrance Garden. It's at 1 o'clock. This year, we are installing bricks for 27 veterans. We are so pleased to be able to do this for our community and for the folks in our community who have served our country. The veterans helped mulch the garden last week. It looks pretty good. Unfortunately, the weather has kept the roses from blooming. I'm not sure when they are going to come out. Typically, we have a couple of them by now, but I was out there today and put 2 bricks in. There were none. So my appeal is if you can attend this Sunday at 1 o'clock, we would love to see you there, and we certainly will recognize you. The other thing is just a reminder that, Mr. Pepe, perhaps you saw the email I sent to the chiefs about the Community Heroes Walkway. We are doing a special event on September 10. And I should tell you that we already have 2 bricks for the Community Heroes, one for Detective Eddie Kohler and one for Ken Young. So those bricks are already in for Community Heroes. That'll be September 10 at 5 p.m., so we certainly hope that you can attend. And again, thank you for all that you do for our community. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Anyone else with a personal appeal? Hearing none? Oh, Dr.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of the game. I'm community minute. Sorry.
Hearing no other personal appeals? Community minute, Mr. Ladenburg.
Yes, I have 4 things.
Oh.
Just a reminder, we're going to summer meeting hours, or summer meeting dates, I guess, where we don't have our first meeting of the month. It's only the 3rd Monday that we meet. So that starts in June and goes July, August. 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious if anyone has a report of if they were at the library celebration. Unfortunately, I worked my full-time job and DJ'd Saturday and Sunday, so I had a very busy weekend. Although my kids went to the book sale, picked up a few books for 10
Good.
cents a piece. So I don't know how much that's going to help the library, but clear some clutter out for them. Also, tomorrow, good luck to all the incumbents and challengers. Election day, obviously. And I had a 3rd thing, but I can't remember. Oh, and since we don't have our first meeting we don't have a meeting before the community yard sale is coming up, which is always the Saturday after Memorial Day and Labor Day. So anyone who would like to sell items in their yard, driveway, garage, etc., they do not have to pay a permit fee. And it's turned into an event in Emmaus, and I know people make a day out of it. So that's all.
Thank you. Anyone else have any items for community minute? No? Special presentations. We have on our agenda this evening the Arts Commission. Who is speaking on behalf of the Arts Commission?
I'll just introduce, we have a special, the Emmaus Arts Commission has a special art award, and presented to a high school student from Emmaus High School, and I'd like to bring up Bob Bamer, who has the information, and he'll present the award.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening, Mayor, Borough Council, Mr. Pepe. As you all know, since 2005, the Emmaus Arts Commission has brought family-friendly events and artistic community pride to Emmaus in the Lehigh Valley. With the backing of the Emmaus Borough Council and the surrounding businesses, the mission of the Arts Commission is to encourage and promote all the arts and to develop an appreciation of the arts, which will enrich and enhance the quality of life within Emmaus and the surrounding Pennsylvania areas. The ECA, as you probably know, has actually, through hard work and volunteer efforts, created events such as the Snow Blast Winter Arts Festival, the upcoming Rain Barrel Silent Art Auction, the Chalk the Walk, and the Student Film Festival. Tonight, I can think of no better way to promote the arts than to encourage new creative visionaries in our community. And the members of the Emmaus Arts Commission are delighted to announce the winner of our newly established Emmaus Arts Commission Student Art Award. This annual award, is the first of its kind, will be given to a graduating Emmaus High School senior pursuing a career in the visual arts and arts-related field. This year, through not only efforts of the Arts Commission, but the Emmaus Arts staff, I think Mrs. Oster is here. Please stand. I'd just like to interject, Mrs. Oster is retiring this year and has been the fearless leader of the Emmaus High School art staff for 25 years and is retiring this year, and I'm sure she will be sorely missed, so thank you for all your hard work. This year they have gathered 10 Emmaus High School graduating seniors who are in the AP course and going on to the visual arts as a career. We gathered together with Mrs. Oster and previewed the portfolios, and our thanks and congratulations to all the students who participated this year and the art teachers who inspire them. On behalf of the Emmaus Arts Commission, it is my honor to award this year Miss Bernadette Getz, please come forward. Thank you very much. And I have a certificate for you.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the Emmaus Arts Commission, we'd like to present you with a $500 gift certificate to encourage your materials at Dick Blick. I know going to art school is not a cheap undertaking. I know that for a fact. So hopefully this helps with your materials.
Yes.
And we have one more surprise for you. When we went to Dick Blick to get the gift card, they wanted to add another surprise. So you'll be getting an additional $100 from them to help inspire you for your upcoming ventures into the art world.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Getz will be attending Lehigh Community College this fall to study fine arts, and she plans to then transfer on to Kutztown University or the Pennsylvania College of Art and Design to further her education. So could, I think we have some photo ops here, so yeah, can we have the rest of the Arts Commission gather, and maybe we're going to do that right now if we can take a break?
Go ahead.
So can we get the rest of the Arts Commission?
Get in your picture. Stand right behind him.
Photo bomb.
He's good at that.
There we go.
Those in his selfies.
Congratulations.
Did you want to say anything? Okay. Go ahead. I know you were supposed to. Yeah, said you were going to say something, so I was going to put you on the spot.
Thank you so much to everyone who gave me this opportunity. I don't know, I've been in art for my whole life, and this is like great to be able to experiment with different things with this gift card and further, hopefully going really far with it, because this is like my favorite thing ever. So, thank you to everyone.
Good luck. Thank you. Good luck.
Congratulations and good luck.
And if there's time, I know Bernadette had put a sampling of her artwork out on the Unit Community Arts Gallery. If she's still up, if you have a chance to take a look at it, it's out there. Thank you.
Thank you. For the record, Mr. Brown came in at a 7-Eleven.
Where's his coffee?
Oh, not a Slurpee or a big gulp? All right. Oh, where are we? Reading of the minutes. In your binders this evening, we have minutes from the May 4th council meeting. Is there a motion to dispense with the formal reading of those minutes? Motion by Mr. Barrett. Is there a second? second by Mr. Labenberg. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 6 ayes. Additions or corrections? Hearing none, motion to adopt is drafted. Motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Labenberg. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 6 ayes. Decision on bids, we have no bids this evening. Communications, first letter in your binder comes from Scott Carter. I would very much like to be reappointed for a new term on the Mass Special Events Commission. I believe he's referring to the Special Entertainment Commission?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. As my existing term is coming to an end in June, I have enjoyed contributing to the commission, and I believe we're on the right track in making the Borough Concert Series a one-of-a-kind event in Lehigh Valley. Please let me know if there are any concerns or questions regarding my candidacy for a new term on the commission. Mr. Pepe, do we refer these to Parks and Rec or straight to the commission?
You can,
Both?
you can vote.
All right, we'll send it to both.
It's up to you.
Where? It usually goes to Parks and Rec.
To Parks and Rec.
Well, it's a reappointment. He's already been on it, so
Yeah, I'd like to.
it's up to you guys if you want
I
to
think
re-interview
there,
him.
I think there was, we'd like to discuss. Send it-
All right, we'll send
I'll
it
take
to,
the-
we'll send it to
Parks and
committee.
Recs.
All right, we'll send that to Parks and Rec. The next letter comes from Chris Boehm, the Borough Manager of the Borough of Macungie. Dear council members and fire police captain, on behalf of the Macungie Police Department, I respectfully request assistance from the Mass Fire Department Station 7, Special Fire Police for traffic control within the Borough of Macungie during the following events: the Antique Truck Show, the Sox Fest, and the Wheels of Time. Mr. Pepe, if you could refer that to Chief Rice at staff meeting tomorrow morning. The next letter comes from Tina Rawls, requesting to hold an event August 22nd out in Community Park entitled Emmaus Live. It's a community festival to support, I read it. Promoting a positive message to the young people of the community.
She is a,
Oh, she's here?
I didn't sign in because I didn't want to take up your time since I gave you a lengthy description, but I wanted to let you know that I'm here to answer questions.
You are Tina?
Yes.
Okay. When we get a request like this, it's quite lengthy. We refer it to committee, so this will be referred to the Parks and Rec Committee. You may want to make yourself available and attend one of their committee meetings prior to the event.
be June.
June 2nd.
June 2nd is their next meeting.
Thank you.
This will be
It's at
referred.
4 o'clock here at Borough Chambers.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
That's fine. You are asking that the parks stay open at least until 11 p.m. for music?
It was our understanding the park normally closed at 10. We were simply indicating we were trying to close at whatever the regular time the park closes is, but assuming we would need an additional hour for cleanup, not to keep the park open. So
Okay.
Just one quick question, if I may.
Mhm.
Did you check with downstairs to see if they had the date available for?
I did before I put this in, and they
Okay.
penciled it in and said it was available.
It was, okay, very good, thank you.
All right. I will refer this to Mr. Anders, Committee for Parks and Recreation. Also in your binder is from the Emmaus Arts Commission, Chalk the Walk for Triangle Park. This is scheduled for July 11th, 9 to noon, with the rain date of July 17th, 9 to noon. I will refer this to the Parks and Rec Commission as well, even though, or committee rather, even though this is the third,
Yeah, it's a recurring
the third
event.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third year, just basically to review some things.
I was gonna say, because it's in July, if we wait till the
gonna be
June
tight.
2nd meeting, yeah, that would be kind of,
Are you just asking for them to review it and
Just
give
to review
authority?
it, yeah,
Give approval?
just to review it, only because
There's no street closures, is there?
they're asking for parking
spots.
spaces.
Okay.
Only 2, though, right at the kiosk,
Yes,
Yes.
I believe.
which is, I believe, what we did the past.
Yeah, they
think
put the
that-
radio company there.
Okay. If you want to make a motion to handle it tonight, pending your review, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that.
I would gladly put the motion on the floor, or to approve the Chalk the Walk for the Emmaus Arts Commission on July 9th from 9 till noon, or with a rain date of July, is that 12th or 17th?
It's July 11th. And the rain date of July 17th.
July 17th from 9 to noon.
No, it's 12.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
next day, 12.
Just looks like a 7.
Oh, it looks like a 7,
Yeah.
sorry.
Shane's like, what? I can't wait to see those notes.
Tell
The
me what
bottom of the
right-
2 was cut off, so it looked like a 7.
Saturday, July 11th from 9 till noon, with a rain date of July 12th from 9 till noon.
All right. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Lavenberg. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 6 ayes. All right, on your desk this evening, we have a couple of items. The first one comes from Christopher Canant. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Quant, okay. He's a local entrepreneur who's in the process of starting a craft distillery. I have a desire to locate my distilled spirits plant in the borough of UMass, and I'm specifically seeking approval from the borough to allow for the opening of a tasting room, which would permit us to provide tasting samples as well as to sell spirits produced at the distillery directly to the public. Instead of going through his whole letter, that's the gist of it.
Can I just
Go ahead.
weigh in? So I've met with Mr. Quant. He's going in front of the zoning hearing board in June. I would first, we probably need to have a discussion now since we don't have an early June meeting. I met with him today. He's met with Jim Farnsworth. We have the craft brewery ordinance that we adopted. Quite honestly, we don't think that it translates over to distillery, even though, to be honest with you, I mean, when he said, you know, I'm having a rum distillery, my ears perked. I don't drink beer, but rum is something that, but nonetheless, we don't think that it translates into a distillery. He wants to, the property he's looking at is actually located right off of Fifth Street. If we go past Wes's building, inside the storage garage or the storage yard, that first building off of Fifth, there's 50 dedicated parking spots there, so that's the building that he's looking at. It would, I mean, it's in the same district as what we approved for the brewery. It's just that we don't have a definition for distillery. He's asking the zoning hearing board for an interpretation of the ordinance, which he has that right. And if they turn him down, or if they say, you know, it doesn't apply, he's asking right away for a variance. In speaking with him, you know, we talked about the ordinance and whether or not council would consider adopting an ordinance that addresses distillery, which I would rather regulate it than to have some kind of zoning variance that, you know, it doesn't necessarily regulate it. And in talking to Solicitor Dinkelhocker, he absolutely agrees that maybe we need to intercede in the zoning hearing and have that conversation. So there's 2 things with this thing. One is zoning, the zoning hearing board, he's going to that. But the second part of it is looking at the ordinance, if you guys are interested in doing that. He wants to be on the fast track. We're not starting from scratch this time. We already adopted an ordinance just per se, just that we would need to adopt it to kind of this type of thing.
Mr. Lavenberg.
I would think we would want to go the same route we did with the brewery and make sure that we're all on the same page and,
Right.
you know, make sure there's food served or whatever and
Well,
have all those discussions.
So with this kind of license, apparently a distillery is a different kind of license than a brewery, so he doesn't have to worry about food at a distillery.
Well, I saw only 1.5 ounces, so that's what, a shot and a half?
Yeah, I think it's a little, his license is a little different because that's one of the things I had said to him was, you know, with the brew pub, there was a food thing and the type of license, he said doesn't necessarily apply to a distillery. I don't know anything about distilleries other than he's making rum.
So we'll discuss it in GA?
That's what I would recommend, but I would also think maybe the solicitor needs to weigh in because you don't have a council meeting until June 18th, is that right? 15th? He would be at the zoning hearing board in the end of June. So if we need to weigh in on that zoning hearing board, we probably need to hear what Mr. Dinkelhocker has to say now rather than waiting until the 15th.
Well, if he goes to the zoning hearing board, in my view, he's not, the determination that he's not covered by the ordinance we have is correct, because my recollection is that we talk about, we define draft brewery
Right.
as relating specifically to beer and to hard cider, things like that, and not to distilled spirits. So I don't think he can get an interpretation that falls within the ordinance, because it's simply not there. He's also not entitled to a use variance, because I'm sure that the building can be used for purposes that are consistent with the ordinance. That being the case, you never know, sometimes the zoning hearing boards do grant the variances. If they do grant him a variance, which he's really not entitled to in all likelihood, but if they do grant it, you want to make sure that appropriate conditions are placed upon the grant of the variance so that he's not operating outside what we anticipate might someday be an ordinance that would regulate him. And my initial thought, just seeing this for the first time tonight, is that we'd have an ordinance very similar to what we have for the draft, for the brewery. So, you know, I think it's important to go for the reason that even if they grant the variance, which they probably shouldn't, but if they do, to make sure that appropriate conditions consistent with a future ordinance, if it's passed, would be placed. So that's my thought in terms of the importance of going.
And
Mr. Anderson?
Shane, what time period were they looking to establish their
Well,
business?
so he very clearly said to me, I don't want to be like Funk and wait a year to try to get something done here. He wants to be in that place. He wants to be in that place and like open the doors by November,
Okay.
which means he wants decisions by us
Did Funk
relatively quickly.
take a year?
He did, and but that's because he had license issues, he had zoning
Okay.
issues, he got denied by the zoning hearing board. Then it was, you know, it took us quite a bit of time to adopt
get the right-
that
The language
ordinance.
right.
So in this case, to adopt an ordinance, if we go that route,
Well, so if you were to introduce an ordinance in your June meeting, let's just say
Right.
the committee worked on an ordinance and we got a clear definition of distillery and maybe, you know, apply the same rules as the craft brewery, which I don't think it'd be that difficult if they were to go in that direction. We would introduce that in your June meeting. We have to send it out to the planning commission and to the county, I think 45 days to review, I think was the timeline. So you're looking at final adoption August meeting,
okay.
which in his eyes is
Right.
very doable.
Right.
But again, just like the craft brewery, if you're going down this direction, you wanna make sure you get it right. And not just adopt an ordinance and get him in there just to get him in there.
Right.
You wanna make sure this is something that is borough-wide, kind of the same concept as the brewery.
Mr. Schuster?
Question. For the ordinance that we're looking at, the question I have is, I guess, if we're gonna rewrite or draft an ordinance for a distillery, can we look at also, like, thinking of other ways or other companies that might come in? And I'm gonna give you an example. It seems to be like a pattern here where there's a beer company and now a distillery and
What's
there's
next, a
other
winery?
companies. Yeah, they're called mead, they do mead. So if you go to the South 10th Street in Allentown, in their incubator there, that's where these companies are. There's Hijinks, there's a distillery, there's a mead company. So I don't know if there's a difference between mead being made and a distillery.
Well, I think it turns into just a definition thing and a amend the sections type of thing.
Because I'd hate to have a winery come down the road
Right.
or a.
Right, and be at
Have
it
to
again,
go
hey, you
back.
gotta
Have to
wait
do it all over
45
again.
days
Yeah.
because,
Yep.
Can we address them both at the same time?
Yes.
yeah, that's
And
up
that's
to
what
you.
we'll do.
You
Yeah.
can, but remember too, though, I mean, the more we add to it, it, you know, it just gets a little more complicated in terms of having appropriate definitions and, you know, things like that. I don't think it adds substantially to the time, but it certainly makes it a little more complex. I mean, I would envision it as having pretty much the same regs as relate to parking. As to zoning districts, I would think it would be pretty much the same. So then it becomes, you know, and if they want to have food like we have it set up, that's fine. Or just have a tasting room or just a manufacturing area. I I think all those are fine. So it comes down to definitions, but you want to make sure you get the definitions right.
Yeah, and they get around that with the food is, they bring in trucks over at the South 10th Street.
Yes.
They bring, everybody's there, so they bring in a
Sure.
food truck.
But we also want to let them have, I think we have it set up so they can actually serve food too if they want, as opposed to
But I
having a
think,
vendor.
I think that was part of his alcohol license too, though, wasn't it?
I think it is, yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
where that requirement came from,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Right.
Right, and here it does say, sell food and liquor for consumption on or off licensed premises.
Yeah, I think we can make it fit. I would say that an outside time frame, considering the process for amending a zoning ordinance is probably 90 days, but that still means by end of August probably having
be all
something
right.
for him.
Yeah, if our committee, if the Gen Ag
Gen
committee
Ag.
was to work on it at their next meeting and move forward, I think we might be able to get something adopted by August.
Great.
Then I will refer it to committee. Mr. Barrett?
Yeah, I'll save my question for when we talk about it.
Okay. Committee scheduled to meet May 27th. I believe that's our next meeting. All right, we'll handle it there. All right, the next letter on your desk this evening comes from Justin DeLong, effective immediately. I hereby tender my resignation as a firefighter with the UMass Fire Department.
Who does this go to? Oh, you just read it?
Yeah,
That's it?
yeah,
Okay. We don't have to accept it?
no.
Okay.
Also on your desk this evening is a lengthy letter from the Citizens Fire Company of Upper Milford Township, signed by their chief, Chief Joe Sherman. On behalf of the chief officers of the Citizens Fire Company of Upper Milford Township, we're writing in regards to unsafe actions from some of the firefighters with the fire department, presenting during emergency operations. Mr. Pepe, were you planning on discussing this with staff at all? I don't
Yeah,
wanna-
I mean, this is based off a conversation he had with the chief. I
He's had
think,
already with our chief?
I think we need to talk about some personnel issues, maybe at Gen Ed or Public Safety.
All right, I'm not gonna read this for the record, but if anybody wants to see it, they can see it downstairs.
You see this?
All right, I don't think I had anything further for communication. Mr. Pepe, did you have anything for communication?
So I'm trying to go through. I think you have everything.
This is pension ordinance, seasonal employees,
that's
lifeguards. Okay. Any member of council have an item for communication? Mr. Mayor, do you? No. All right. Borough engineers report. We have no engineer this evening, so we have no report. Solicitors report.
I just want to let everybody know, we have oral argument on the Labor Relations Board matter on June 15th.
Okay,
And with that, that's all I have.
all right.
And I would expect a decision probably by late summer, sometime in August.
No, not that day?
Not that day.
All
And
right.
it's oftentimes too very hard to guess what they're going to do based upon what they say in court. So, but I would expect that we'd have an answer sometime in the August timeframe.
All right. Unfinished business, part one. We have nothing on the agenda. New business. In your binder this evening is ordinance 1127. On your desk this evening is a memorandum dealing with this ordinance. This is the new pension ordinance, which now covers our employee plan documents. Mr. Pepe, do you want to talk about this? It's basically self-explanatory from the memo
Yeah,
that you had given us.
I sent an email out of the memorandum this afternoon. I apologize, I didn't get it out to you Friday. I think the memorandum sums up the ordinance. I also put a hard copy on your desks. If you don't have it, I think I have a couple extra copies or
I
something.
think everybody received it.
So most of that ordinance is addressing, we went through, I think it was like 32 pension ordinances that have been adopted over the years. We compared them to the pension plan documents and found a lot of inconsistencies, which is one of the reasons why you have a new actuary. Some things where they adopted an ordinance and it wasn't necessarily in compliance with Act 600, we're taking care of that here. Some things where you adopted an ordinance and for some reason it never made the plan documents, that's addressed here. Updated to come up with some modern times with the pension board itself. For example, the secretaries union doesn't have a member on the board. It's the board's feeling that they should be represented. So that's addressed in there. Couple Pennsylvania laws that were adopted over the last 9 or 10 years are also addressed in the review. Talks about those. So there's a lot. I mean, it's a pretty short ordinance. I think it's 4 pages. But it was about a year's worth of
Yeah.
work and research that went into it. Obviously, the police department has a different pension plan than the non-uniform employees, so you'll see it's broken down differently. When laws are passed, they adopt laws to address the different pensions separately. So you'll see some things that refer to Act 600, that's all police stuff. If you see something that refers to Act 205, that refers to both of them. If you see something that referred to Act 30, that was all police stuff. Okay. So you have a combination of a bunch of things trying to update that ordinance.
Yeah, I think you covered it all.
A good short version of it?
Yeah. It's an ordinance covering the 2 plan documents that now comply with Act 600 and Act 205. So what we have tonight is ordinance 1127, scheduled for first reading. And is there a motion to read ordinance 1127 in short title? Motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Schubsta. Discussion. Mr. Anders,
Just,
we're only reading it in short title.
okay.
Do you want to?
It would just be on discussions on reading it.
Oh, no, I'm good with reading it, I'm sorry. Oh, this-
Don't worry,
Jumping the gun.
We'll talk about it when we go
It's the second time
past
I've done
it.
this now,
Yeah, it's the
isn't
second time. It's only to read it in short title
Nothing,
first.
go for it.
All right.
I'll put that in the notes.
Any further discussion?
Paul will get it.
All those in favor? We have 6 ayes. This is ordinance 1127, an ordinance of the Borough of Umass, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1, Part 7C, entitled Borough of Umass Police Pension Plan to comply with Act 600 of 1956 as amended, and Chapter 1, Part 7B, entitled Employees Pension Plan. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 1127 as read? Motion by Mr. Labenberg. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schubsta. Discussion. Mr. Anders.
Under the police pension plan, Article 3, there's a section here that it discusses about the ordinance specifies that plan must be in sound financial condition and an actuary study be conducted every time you make a fundamental change to benefit the plan so that the council can make an educated decision on the financial impact. I would like to see something in there a little bit more that council can make the decision, that council approves the financial condition there and not just leave it open, if that makes sense. Mr. Pepe, do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's in the section 3 under the police pension on the memo that you sent out earlier.
Okay, so in the
Page 2 at
in
the
the
top.
section of the ordinance, it would be page 2, 3/4 of the way down, letter D is where you're talking about, right?
I believe so.
The service
4.
increment
Yes,
benefit.
Yes, thank you. I just feel that, if we just leave it open, council has no say in it, and it would give them a chance to have a decision of, are we really in the financial condition at that time? I don't know if, the people judging it could or not.
So what you're saying is, not only for the plan to be in sound financial condition, but that the borough's in sound financial
Correct,
condition to approve it.
correct, thank you, yes.
I would-
I support that.
Yeah, I guess that was a question.
Dead silence, yeah, right. I mean,
I guess that was a question. That was a question mark.
right, oh, no, that is what I was referring to.
You want us to add that language?
Yes, thank you.
Mr.
Probably
Barrett?
clean it up a bit better than I said it, though.
Well, how did we arrive at the language that is currently stated?
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead. It's, comes from the act, but go ahead.
Yeah,
It
Okay,
comes
that's
right
what
out
I-
of the
yeah,
act.
yeah,
what I
so,
thought. I mean,
Act 30
it's what
of
the state-
2005 was adopted that really speaks to the $100 to $500 a
Right.
month
Right.
for people that had service of 26 or above.
Right.
Yeah.
26 years or above.
So what I'm asking, I mean, I thought that was state language, that wasn't something we put together. Can we change that? Are we even permitted to supersede, or preempt that?
So, I guess the legal way to say that is you have the option of doing that. I
Shall
don't think you're
be up to.
required to do that. And the pension board had, I think, a lengthy discussion on that.
Yeah.
And realized that and understood that, and tried to craft a language in here that applies to Act 30, but also that realizing that they didn't expect that you're just going to say, hey, you were here 27 years, now you get an extra $200.
I think my fear is what if we had another recession or something? I mean, give that future council an opportunity, not just thinking, hey, maybe I'm not here at that point.
Well, it-
But someone in the future has that opportunity to address it.
If the plan is actuarially sound and can handle it, that's why we have to have the study to determine whether or not it's able to handle that. But this also indicates that it's up to $100.
Right.
That it doesn't exceed $100 per month.
Because the act limits it at $100.
This is the language right from Act 30.
No, I realize that, it just, I really would not, my personal is, leaving that opportunity to at least address how we are financially in the borough at that time period. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not, I can't see that future, and that's where I'm wrestling with it.
Well,
Mr.
I mean,
Barrett?
I think, and I'm sure someone else could explain it better, but I think if I read it, I interpret it as the actuary study has to be done.
Prior
Council has
to.
to it has to be done prior, then council would review that and then determine, I mean, so we do have the power that you're requesting.
I think to
right?
help him along, because Mr. Anders was in my office earlier this afternoon and asked the question. Like when we vote on the COLAs every year, the plan right now is financially sound,
Very.
but there's a financial impact to the borough. I think what he was trying to get at, and if I'm putting words in your mouth,
Okay, I
please
see.
stop me. But I think what he's trying to say is he wants to see language that says if there's a financial impact on the borough, council should be making decision
Right.
as to whether or not the borough can handle that out of
Approve
our
it or not.
funds rather than just out of the pension fund.
I agree.
I see.
Am I correct when, that's how I remember the
That's what
conversation.
That's the way I'm trying to say. I mean, I have it here in my notes, but it's like, when I read this, it was kind of,
Yeah, I see it, what you're requesting.
Mr. Langberg?
If there is a motion made to amend it somehow worded that way, I will second it.
I'll put the motion on the floor.
And I will second it. The one that Shane's gonna come up with right now.
So I think you have to amend your motion, because you already have a first and second, right?
We're under discussion, yeah.
So I think you have to amend your motion.
Brent has to
and
amend his motion, and
Mr. Shipster would have
Shipster
to.
has to.
I will
second
amend
it.
my motion.
Okay.
I'll second that. I'll amend my motion.
All right. I've got it.
Got it?
Do you want me to repeat what we're going to do?
Yep.
Okay.
Because
So-
my words are jumbled.
So on page 2, section 4D, the next to the last sentence in D, it'll say this benefit shall be payable in addition to the monthly benefit payable under the pension benefit formula, provided the participant is eligible and the plan is in sound financial condition, and then we'll add, and the Borough of Emmaus can financially sustain as per the actuarial study.
Yes.
Yes.
That would be,
And then this shall be in accordance with PL 466, number 89, Act 30 of December 22, 2005.
Anything further, Mr. Brown?
Madam President, or Shane, if you, since you guys are on the pension board, does the actuary study, is it a big impact cost for that study? When I think of study, I'm thinking there's a cost to that.
To do this type of study?
Yeah, the risk management actuary cost.
No, it's probably $1,500.
Yeah, and it
out
would
of the
come, it
pension
would come right
plan.
out of the pension plan.
It comes out of the
And
plan.
that comes out of the pension.
Yeah.
plan.
Comes out of the
Okay.
plan.
And if we pass this tonight, what is the financial impact of this, specifically the more in reference to the $100 per month, up to $100 per month? And,
ahead.
is there any financial impact
So-
for us now for the pension?
So the answer would be no.
Okay,
The law, doesn't matter what ordinance you ever adopt, the law says if you're making any kind of change or any proposed change to any benefit, an actuarial study has to be conducted, okay? So what we're saying is we're building right into the ordinance that we could consider this, but we're going to do an actuarial every time. And you're going to make that decision, whether or not this, for A, the plan is sound, but B, per the amendment you just made, that
It's
you
doable.
can financially sustain it in your budgets, our budgets.
Mr. Langberg?
Mine kind of pigtails on his. So in your memorandum, on the top of page 2, it says essentially the act states that the municipality can give up to 100 per month for each completed year of service over 25 years. So that would be up to 2,500 per month, if I'm reading that correctly. $100 per year. or-
Right, well, yeah, what the act says is, if I work 26 years, if, let's just say,
No,
I get
I'm not
$1,000.
looking for an explanation. I just want to make sure that I'm
correct.
saying that right.
You can
Okay.
get up to an extra $500 a month for 30 years of service.
Okay, so that would be $15,000 a month if I'm doing the math.
No. No, let's just say I make $1,000 a month of my pension. If I work 26 years, I'd be making $1,100 a month. If I work 27 years, I'd make $1,200 a month. 28 years, 13, 29 years, 14, 30 years, 15, 31 years, it'd still be 15, 50 years, it would still be 15. The law says it caps at 30 years, the extra $500 a month, past the 25 years.
Okay.
Does that,
Yeah, and then I was going to go into the actual ordinance under D where it says service increment benefit. And what I was going to question, what you kind of explained there, it says the total service increment benefit shall not exceed 500 per month. So that's what you were just saying there, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I misinterpreted that. $15,000 a month is quite a bit.
I like that pension.
yeah.
I think we'd all like
Well,
that one.
and you know, and maybe.
That's $180,000 a year.
Works for me.
No, I think it reads
Retire
right.
tomorrow.
Do you think it reads?
Yeah,
It reads
I
right.
don't have a problem with
It
that.
follows
Okay.
the act.
Okay, I think it looks good.
It follows the act.
I just want to make sure I'm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the whole goal is to
missing
follow Act 30. That's,
Okay.
that's what the language is trying to
Yeah.
define.
Comes
And
right
yeah,
from
you
there.
cite Act 30 right in that provision.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Any further questions or discussion, comments, concerns, issues? This is first reading. Will be scheduled for second reading for June, Mr. Pepe? We'll get it done?
Yes, correct.
June 15th meeting? Okay. Is there a motion to adopt, or, oh, we already have that motion. We've already been seconded. This is a roll call vote. Mr. Ladenburg.
aye?
Mr. Barrett.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Schuster.
Aye.
Mr. Anders.
aye.
Mrs. Gilbert votes aye. We have 6 ayes. Think we could get that scheduled then? Unfinished business, part 2. We have nothing on our agenda this evening. Items not on the agenda subject to Rule 9. Any member of council have an item that they wish to bring forward? Hearing none. Mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
I got 2 proclamations to read here tonight. Let's see, the first one I'll do is Proclamation 378. Wait till the clock stops. Of course. That was nearly state.
Yeah,
That was
you
nearly
got
state.
yeah.
Should have been a cuckoo clock, huh? Yeah. Emergency Medical Service Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, first responders, educators, administrators, and others. And whereas the members of emergency medical service teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, I, Winfield Yopes, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, proclaim that the week of May 17th through May 23rd, 2015 be known as Emergency Medical Services Week. And I urge all the residents and friends of Emmaus to join in this observance. Done this 18th day of May 2015 in the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. And the next one I'm going to read is a new one. That we first year now we're doing this. Proclamation 382, National Public Works Week. Whereas public work services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public work systems and programs, such as water, sewers, streets, and highways, public buildings, and solid waste collection. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of the community greatly depends on these facilities and services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, are vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Now therefore, I, Winfield Yopes, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, proclaim that the week of May 17th through May 23rd, 2015, be known as National Public Works Week, and call upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions which public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. On this 18th day of May 2015, in the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. Okay, progress.
Thank you. Very good. Committee reports. Public Works. Mr. Ladenburg.
Yes, had a meeting, but we didn't have a quorum. Nate was out of town, out of state, I guess, and Brian had a medical appointment. So we just briefly discussed a few items, and then that was it. So there's no action taken because we didn't have a quorum. So progress.
Very good. Health, Sanitation, and Codes. Mr. Shubsta.
Thank you. Nothing for official action this evening. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 21st at 4:30 PM. Shane, you will not be at that meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. What I'll do is I'm going to start the outline for the ordinance. I'll kind of put an outline together of how I think we should kind of take it apart piece by piece.
Also in your agenda, the IFC ordinance.
Yes.
We've been working on that, so we'll have something to you probably for next month.
For next month?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that'd be great. All right, and I think that's it. I'll report progress.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation. Mr. Anders.
Yes, I have several items this evening for official action. We will be looking to hire our summer parks program counselors and concession stand attendants, cashiers, lifeguards, and head lifeguards for this evening. First motion would be to hire the individuals listed below for the summer parks program counselors. Aaron Miller of Emmaus at $8.25 per hour. Laura O'Malley Kuklis at $8 per hour. Kim Corasato at $7.50 per hour. Gabrielle Zukowski of Emmaus for $7.50 per hour. Justin Molatoris, thank you, of Emmaus, $7.50 per hour. Charlene Casey of Emmaus for $7.50 per hour. Darren Smith Jr. of Emmaus for $7.50 per hour. Concession stand attendant Brooke Myers of Emmaus for $7.25 per hour, and I'll put that in the form of a motion, please.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ladenburg. Discussion? Mr. Anders? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Shipstead.
The only question I have, is this a contingent on them passing the new background check?
Has to be, yes.
Has to be, okay.
Anyone over here had a question? Mr. Barrett?
Are all of these people, are any of them returning, I guess, from last year?
Everyone but Laura O'Malley Kuklis, and the reason why we want to start her with the $8 an hour is because she's an actual school teacher.
Yeah, no.
So that is a major asset for that program.
Oh, absolutely.
Erin Miller, so every one of them is returning.
Okay.
Erin Miller will be running the program this year. This is her 4th or 5th year. She's a senior in college next year. Most of these individuals are either in college or close to college, and those that are in college are actually majoring in education.
Mm-hmm.
So this is right up their area of study. Laura O'Malley Kuklis, we asked for $8 an hour simply because of her profession and the idea that having an adult, and when I say adult, they're all young adults, but she's an experienced adult that deals with parents and children all the time. So that's a major asset for us.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I mean, to see the same names come back and be a more experienced group than, not to say by any means that the original group that started this program, this might be this could be 8th year of doing this?
I don't know if it's 8.
At least 7.
When
But
my kids were younger, they were in it, yeah.
yeah, regardless, I mean, it's certainly grown. There were some growing pains with it, but I mean, I think that it's really straightened itself out, and it's great to see this group come back. So
It seems like the operation, I mean, just in the 3 years that I've watched it, it's gotten smoother. We're running it more like a daycare in terms of making sure forms are filled out, making sure, if grandma's coming, mom has to fill out a form first. If a parent doesn't live with another parent, we find that out up front. So that way we don't get the challenge of, somebody kidnapped a kid in a park and we let it happen. I mean, that's something that, is always a fear. You hear about that stuff all the time. So, this group collectively has done, they did a good job last year. Erin's been part of the process for most of the program's history now. So.
And I would also stress that you see how many counselors we have gives a little bit more individual attention to the children. We have more, one-on-one cases where they can be with them. So it's a great program.
Are we limiting the number this year of children?
I think 90 has been the
norm.
The norm.
Okay.
So far, the number seems to be low, but it's
early.
like that 2 weeks before the program starts, they flood.
And when the word gets out a little bit more that they're starting at
This year or previous year?
Any further discussion? All those in favor? The 6 ayes.
Okay, the next one's a little bit longer list. Again, I will be requesting that the hiring of the following individuals to work as lifeguards and cashiers at the Emmaus Community Pool for the 2015 season. Cashiers, Emma Moore of Emmaus for $7.25 per hour, and Joel Heine of Emmaus for $7.25 per hour. Lifeguards, and as you'll see, we have a few returning of those as well. Tyler Burkholder of McCungy, $7.25 per hour. Victoria Delhagen of Emmaus, $7.25 per hour. Alex Duke of Allentown, $7.50 per hour. Chris Spiro of Emmaus, $7.25 per hour. Stefan Scheib of Schnecksville, $7.50 per hour. Luke Pecanis of Emmaus, $7.25 per hour. Sorry, Luke. Zoe Cassis of Emmaus, $7.50 per hour. Olivia Scarnulis of Macungie, $7.50 per hour. Joel Murphy of Emmaus, $7.25 per hour. Kevin Rogers of West Coastville, $7.25 per hour. Summer Sullivan of Fogelsville, $7.50 per hour. Sydney Powers of Emmaus, $7.50 per hour. Rachel Haney of Emmaus, $7.50 per hour. Sean Kugis of Macungie, $7.50 per hour. Shannon Burkholder of Macungie, $7.50 per hour. Sierra Dolan of West Coastville, $7.50 per hour. Hannah Maroon of Macungie, $7.25 per hour. Emily Thomas of Allentown, $7.25 per hour. The head lifeguards, Bianca Panuto of Emmaus, $9.25 per hour, and Peter Ehrlich of Emmaus, $9 per hour. And you'll see several that have conditional upon passing certification test, and I'll put that in the official form of a motion.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ladenburg. Discussion. All those in favor? With 6 ayes.
Beyond that, we did meet on May 5th. You'll see some notes there. There was an individual who came to discuss a potential doggy dip. We are discussing that with our Public Works Director first to see how he feels about the potential of the dogs in the pool at the end of the season. We also discussed Aqua Zumba, which they would like to have at Community Pool every other Friday during the summer. They already are having it on Wednesdays, I believe. Do we need a motion for that?
I think you
one?
do.
We do, I thought so. So I'd like to put a motion before council for Aqua Zumba to be held at Emmaus Community Pool every other Friday during the summer. And that's in the form of a motion, please.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ladenburg. Discussion. Mr. Anderson?
I just wanted to note that they do get a lot of turnout for that. It's a very popular program. I know the special entertainment helps to put that on, and we get great turnout for it, so it's great to see extra people in the pool, and the extra day should actually drive some extra people there.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? With 6 ayes.
And with that, I will report progress.
Thank you. Public safety, we have 2 items this evening that need official action. Last meeting, we accepted the resignation of Kathy Haney from the Civil Service Commission. Since we have an alternate that sits in that position, we can move that alternate to fill her term until we find another individual to serve on the commission. He is willing, in fact, to move from the alternate's position to the sitting position. So we need a motion to appoint Vince Tranguch to the Civil Service Commission with a term to expire January 1st of 2019. Motion by Mr. Barrett. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion? All those in favor? With 6 ayes. Also, we have an appointment here of an Erica Bonfiglio. Mr. Pepe, if you could talk to us about her.
Yes.
She wants to...
I did receive a memorandum from the chief of police this morning. I told him it was, I told Sergeant Gishwin it was too late, I already wrote one.
Oh.
So, based on it, it was the same information. So, Ms. Bonfiglio was an unpaid intern in the police department last year. She helped with this giant mess of turning paper into electronic files, which, you know, we've discussed over and over again. And she spent an entire summer last year working on helping do that conversion. I mean, it's literally standing at the scanner and scanning files and putting it into the Cody system and things that a secretary, especially in that department where they have, you know, one person at the front desk and then the administrative assistant is literally doing everything. There's no time for them to do that. So what we're asking is that we pay her to come back this year at minimum wage and continue doing the project she started. I mean, she spent most of a summer. I mean, it was limited hours, of course, but you know, she got through most of 1 year. I mean, that's how many. You got to remember, there's 7,000 incident reports in the police department per year. So, if she gets through 2 years this summer, I think that would probably be a major accomplishment for us. But very young, very smart young lady. Very sounds like she's goal oriented. She has big plans for the future. She's doing all the right things to further her education, and something like this is a good experience in terms of at least being in a department such as our police department. And even though she's not doing police work per se, but she's in that atmosphere doing things that are really important to the department. Even though as minuscule as it might seem to us, getting those things filed and in a searchable system really will help eliminate the going down to the basement and searching and searching and searching for something where you had to hide it in the back of a storage closet or something like that. So, with the information I was given and per the conversations I have, I highly recommend Ms. Bonfiglio as an intern in that department.
Is there a motion to appoint Erica Bonfiglio as an intern to the police department at $7.25 an hour? Motion by Mr. Anders. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brown. Discussion? Mr. Leidenberg?
Just, so when they're scanned and they just dispose of the files then?
You can't necessarily get rid
You
of
gotta
all.
shred them and stuff, but,
Well, yeah, and they do. I mean, we have the shredder over there. You can't necessarily get rid of everything.
is it after a certain time you can get rid of it?
Yes, there are. Following the Records Retention Act, which you guys will be seeing a proposed policy on that in the next couple of months. But following that act, it tells you how many years you have to keep something on paper.
Then the other question is, everything that they scan, is there a backup system somewhere that, you know, in case something happens and
That's
it's
part
not
of this
wiped out?
crazy amount of money you keep spending on technology over there. Because now we need a backup system for the backup system in case one of the drives on the backup system
Right,
fails.
I just wanna make sure, okay. I assumed it, but I wanna make sure
Yeah,
I'm on the
so
record asking.
There's, right.
Because we're ultimately accountable, so.
Yep. Yep.
We're hiring?
We're hiring.
As a,
Intern.
Yes.
okay, not appointing.
Right.
Right. Sorry.
Thank you.
Correct. We're hiring.
Hired.
Not appointing.
You have a point.
Keep it going.
Not appointed.
You have appointment on the memo.
We're hiring. I don't.
All right.
I didn't know anything.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 6 ayes. All right, I don't think there was anything else for official action from the committee.
Question.
Mr. Leidenberg?
So I was reading through your memorandum, and under St. John's Lutheran Church, the handicap parking, I have a suggestion. They had requested 3 spaces,
Yes.
and you thought that they're going to deny it and they should put it in their parking lot. My suggestion is, since we have this at St. John's, so if you're going north from the Triangle on 4th Street, on the left side, there's 2 front to back handicap spaces.